Hello everybody, welcome to the very first edition of Trash Talk.
Yay!
Today I'm very excited to announce that we are opening up our recycling station. So we've got a little information to relay to everybody. These signs are going to be posted over here along the wall where our recycling collection bins will be. But first I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're able to accept and recycle at this moment. There are actually many different types of plastic, and so this is the opportunity to be mindful of the little triangle-y thing at the bottom that tells you what number of plastic is inside of it. So generally clear plastics, little bottles like this. They're very faint sometimes, but this is a number 1 plastic. So we can accept number 1 plastics and number 2 plastics for recycling off-site. So number 2 plastics are usually more hard, like this. And if you're curious, not always, but if you're curious, you just look at the bottom. So this one is a number 2. This one is a number 1, a clear plastic bottle. And notice that it's been rinsed out and it doesn't have any food or any liquid left in it. So please bring things empty and clean. This is an example of not empty or clean. So please don't put things like this in the recycle over there. It's going to be open, and so we don't want bugs, we don't want dogs, we don't want animals. So clean and food free, please. So those are the 2 types of plastics that we can recycle conventionally, with off-site areas. We're also accepting metal. So if you've got beverage cans, please rinse them out, make sure they're empty and not going to attract fruit flies and things like that, and then crush them so that they take up less space for us. We can also accept cans like this for tuna or dog food or cat food, whatever it might be, steel like this, and you can collect the lids as well. I want to invite everybody to be extremely mindful. No food inside of these, and please be careful and watch your fingers, because these edges, the lips of cans, are very, very, very sharp. So use a sponge and protect your fingers when you're washing out the can. The other thing that we are going to talk about is glass. We're going to be collecting what I'm going to call 2 different types of glass. Okay, we've got glass A, which is reusable. It's a jar like this that has a lid. All we have to do is clean it, and we can store it and use it for food or seeds or screws or whatever useful things around here. We also have things bigger bottles that we can use for kombucha and for storing teas and for making vinegar, fermenting things. So I want to invite people actually to be very mindful. When you go to the store, this is just something to keep in your awareness. A lot of times you buy things and they're actually not reusable in the conventional sense. It's not a bad thing, it's just something to be aware of. When you pop the cork off of this, it doesn't have a lid anymore. You can, at the store, buy things that come in reusable containers. And so that brings me to lids. Please keep the lids with the jars. So if you see something in the drying rack, don't just stick it somewhere. Make sure that you're putting the jar away with the lid to keep it clean and to also make it so that we can reuse it for something else. The other thing is this type of bottle. This type of bottle can be recycled, and so we can accept this to take off-site for people to recycle and repurpose. We may also start keeping things like this to build bottle walls with, so excited about that.
They are glass.
This is glass. Yep.
Thanks.
And this is another type of glass bottle. The other thing I want to bring to folks' attention is these are actually valuable resources to people, especially at the feria. I take 4 or 5 bottles of these with me when I go, and I get my things for half price because these are worth money to people. And same thing with these jars. The folks that prepare foods, they need things to put it in. And so if we start collecting them here and they're in good condition, we can use them to trade. I'm going to have questions at the end. Okay. The other thing I want to say is we can actually, these are, so sometimes you'll go out and you'll get containers like this. These can be given back to the folks at the feria. They actually really like for you to bring these things back to them because they can reuse them for their, to put their fruit and veggies in again like this, like little berries and stuff like this. So you can collect them and store them and take them back to the people at the feria. A lot of times you'll get things like this in as to-go containers and and people at the ferry are very conscientious and will put them in paper bags as well. This can go into the compost, okay? So we can tear these up into tiny little pieces, you know, not super tiny, but, you know, make them small, and they'll degrade into the compost. So this is, you know, back to Mother Nature right away. So the other thing that we can accept is cardboard. I don't particularly want to be taking cardboard off-site. I would prefer to use it here in the garden, so big pieces of cardboard, like when things come in, like this. The main thing about recycling is keeping like with like. So this is a big jumble of, it's got plastic, it's got cardboard, it's got all the things on it. So this plastic would come off, this tape would come off, and then this cardboard makes really good mulch. So cardboard that doesn't have printing and all this kind of stuff on it, we're going to use in the garden. Things like this, food packaging that does have print and ink and things like that, it can go in the garden, but I prefer to start creating like a burn pile. This is stuff that we can use to start our fires, which is why we keep our tubes for our toilet paper, and we put the lint in it from the dryer in there. So these are fire starters. This is great fire material, especially in rainy season Costa Rica, to have things like this available for us to use. So fire starter, compost. The other thing that we can take off-site right now, but I really do want to be mindful of trying to not bring as many of these on-site as possible. These are what are called Tetra Paks, and they use them in grocery stores for storing liquids. And the reason these are not, I really don't know what they do with them. I'm surprised they accept them. But there are three different materials that go into making this. There's a layer of paper, there's a layer of aluminum, and there's a layer of plastic in here, which is why it makes it difficult to separate. And plus you've got this little guy on there too. So, the main thing is they will accept them for now, so in order to store them, please rinse them out really well. You just open these little flaps like this on the bottom, and it just squeezes down flat like this. So we'll have a box out there, and they can all stand up like this. So they'll take up very little room, and we'll be able to take these off-site to get recycled. So the other thing about plastics is not all of them are recyclable. This one doesn't even have a number on it. So this is going to get reused instead of recycled. Find an upcycle for this right now. I've got 10 of these on my slippery walkway right now, so that they're little cones that people know don't walk here right now. So I looked at them and I was like, oh wow, these are like the little cones we used to put out on the soccer field when we were playing. So, you know, now we have a set of cones to play with, toys for kids or art projects or whatever it might be. This is plastic number 6, so this is not recyclable. When we go to the store, you know, hopefully we're going to be making our own soaps very soon, which is why I brought this guy. Instead of purchasing soaps from the store, we're going to be able to make our own soaps and reuse these types of containers. So for a little while, we will be storing these on site. All of this, in my mind, this is not garbage, this is resources. This is pure resources that we can use to build things with, to store things, to all of the amazing things. One of the items that I'm going to start reusing is these in the kitchen. I would like to start making like dried coconut, that kind of thing, so we can store things in this, as long as the spice flavor is not too much in the plastic. But so in my mind, I like to reuse things in the form that they already are first, and then take them into their next life. So there are some little jugs. Like I'd like to continue using this as a jug for as long as it's useful as a jug. And then when it's not useful as a jug anymore, cut it up and use it as a planter. And then send it on to its next life, and next life, and next life, and next life. So for now, I think that's, oh, yes, sorry, one more thing. One other thing that we're going to start doing is soft plastics, which is all of this like additional packaging that things come in. Things like this, like plastic bags, as many times as we can wash and reuse them is amazing. So there's going to be a line out in the back that we can hang these on with clothespins so that we can wash and dry and reuse them for our food storage. But when things come in stuff like this was a bag that our beans came in, this is clean and dry. You know, as long as there's no food residue in there, we're going to have a bag on the back of the kitchen and then one out there where we can just stuff this in another bag like this. And when we go to the recycling center in San Salvador, we're going to be able to see how they then crush this into a big block like this, and that actually becomes construction material as well. They call it an Ubuntu block. So this type of plastic, anything that's soft like this, after you've reused it, like this is a Ziploc bag. This is a really awesome resource. So we can reuse this until as many times as it's not functioning as a Ziploc bag anymore, and then stuff it in here and it will become a new thing. This type of plastic can also go in there as well. So if you have any packaging from food, crackers, or different things, a lot of stuff in Costa Rica gets individually packaged because of the moisture content. So you can just give this a wipe down with a cloth, and then this becomes clean plastic, and you just stuff it in the bag. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown. There will be these recycling guidelines, so if you have any questions, please just take a look at this or ask me. Right now we're taking glass, reusable kind, and not reusable to us right now kind. We're taking two different kinds of plastic, number 1 and number 2. And we're taking metal, so cans like this and also aluminum cans. And we're taking Tetra Paks, crushed, clean, dry, folded up like this. And we're also taking soft plastics. Soft plastics like this, and then two different kinds of cardboard. Big pieces that don't have any writing on it or ink on it for the garden, and then pieces that might have stuff on it like this that we can use for fire starters, and plain pieces like this that can go in our compost directly. So, any other questions? I am super happy to answer them, and thank you for watching the video.
I see cotton.
Oh, this was something I just wanted to bring people's awareness to the teeny tiny things. Like, I actually go out of my way to find Q-tips that are paper. Like, most of them will come on plastic with the cotton on the ends, but this is completely compostable because it's paper all the way through. So it's just being mindful of what you're purchasing. That was the only reason I brought these here.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Phoenix.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for attending the first Trash Talk.